Good, how are you? Well, it's showtime. For the past 6 months, I have been vending and selling Pokemon cards at different trading card shows in an attempt to clear out debt that I've accrued in the past 10 years of my life. In a world where everybody's picking up a side hustle or a second job, I chose to open up my own business and sell my Pokemon card collection starting off and turned it into a bigger thing. So I would like to take this opportunity to take you through a day of a typical card show, but first, we need some coffees.
Hi, what can I get for you?
Thank you. All right, so it is 8:36. We're gonna go check in, get our wristbands, and check out our table for the day.
Hey, how you doing?
Good, how are you? So the first thing that I do is I will bring my display case because it's something that I don't mind leaving at my table. I'll just kind of check out the area. And then before I go and grab my inventory, which all fits inside of a duffel bag and a storage bin, I'll go talk to other vendors that I've met through this journey. So every show, I work around different vendors each time, and I like to use it as an opportunity to meet some new friends and do some networking because there's a lot of importance in actually having people in your community and people behind you for when you need help. There's plenty of times where I work these shows alone and I need to go use the bathroom and I will ask the person next to me if they can watch my stuff for a second. There's also plenty of times where I run out of stock and I'll go to another vendor and I will say, what would be doing you a favor if I could buy it from you? And they might do the same for me. And at the end of the day, this is just selling Pokemon cards. So it's nice to have people who have the same ideals as you and people that you can be friendly with and just joke around with when you're setting up for these shows. Next, I go and grab my inventory so I can start setting up my display. It's getting to about 9 o'clock now, and this is kind of when things start to ramp up. This is typically actually the time that I come here, but we're doing this video today, so we got here a bit early. So a lot of people have asked, how do I source my cards? And basically when I do these shows, because I'm paying for a table, which costs me at these shows about $115, people understand that when they come to offload the cards that they don't want and they're trying to get into the cards that they want, that I'm gonna get their stuff in at a lower percentage. So I'll typically buy between 70 and 80%, and I typically always trade to 80% unless it's something crazy, and then I'll do a little bit more. So for example, I have this Sylveon VMAX right here that I bought from someone on Twitter actually, and I bought it at about 80% of its value. Now, when it comes to graded cards, you can actually send these cards in for grading yourself and kind of hope that they get a good grade. So on a scale of 1 to 10, you want to hope for a 10 for the most amount of value. But I don't like playing that game. So instead, I just buy these at a percentage as well. And this is actually the same thing. I have someone on Twitter that likes to sell me his 10s when he gets them, and I pick them up. But there's plenty of opportunity at these shows to buy cards at the same percentages. It's just a matter of people actually walking up to you and wanting to sell their stuff. Now, I don't keep a lot of sealed product simply because I don't feel like lugging it into each show. And then I have binders, which will hold some mid and vintage. Then I have some mid to high end modern cards in here. And then I have a bunch of low end singles in this one.
How did you start selling your cards?
So I first started by doing a $10,000 challenge where I wanted to sell $10,000 of Pokemon cards just for a fun YouTube video because I was a YouTuber before that, just showing off my own collection. Then when my son was born and I realized that I wanted to get out of debt because I started getting my financial life together, I figured I could take my collection that was sitting at home being worth so much money but not doing anything and use it to enhance our life and get us into a better position.
How much money do you think is required to start out, and do you need a large ceiling?
So when I first started out, I did this with not a lot of money, and I'll answer that in the next question. But I think that in any business, it's safer to go in with a decent savings, especially if you're gonna try and do this full time. But me, as doing this part-time, I just went in with the collection that I had gotten over the past 4 years and started with that. Actually, no cash. I just started cash flowing it with the collection that I had. So anything is possible starting at any point. It's just a matter of how fast you wanna scale and how fast you think you have the ability to scale.
How much inventory did you start out with, and how much do you have now?
So when I first went to my first show, I started off with just over $2,000 worth of product thinking that it was a lot. And don't get me wrong, that is a lot to start. But in comparison to now, I'm sitting here with about $18,000 worth of stuff and $250 in my pocket in order to buy stuff or give people change to start off the day. So like I said before, you don't need a lot of money to start, but if you want to scale up and be able to pay yourself more, you obviously need more product and inventory. And I like to think of my inventory as a total net worth of my company rather than cash on hand and value of cards. I think it's all compiled into one, which allows me to do business going into the future.
So much focus on your business, do you still add to your personal collection?
So from time to time, I'll pick up small pieces. Like I bought a random Dragon Ball card just for fun. And more recently, I actually sent a card for grading. So over a year ago now, the homie Corey, thank you Corey, sent a bunch of cards to open on this channel. And I opened up a Mewtwo card, which I thought was really cool. And it was sitting in my personal collection because it was one of the cards I said I would never sell. But I decided to send it to grading through my friend Vintage Packs on Instagram. So I actually have the box here, which I haven't looked at the grade yet. I haven't paid the fees yet. I'm gonna pay him after this because I need to get that to him. But we are hoping for a PSA 10. Let's see it. Oh, we got a 9. That's still so sick. I wanted this in a slab so bad that I didn't really care what grade I got. Like I said, it's staying in the personal collection anyway. The value doesn't really matter to me, but I love this. So part of the reason that I actually started this whole thing was so that I could continue to do YouTube. So I already had some camera equipment and I like to make vendor point of view videos because it's kind of like my advertisement. Think of a commercial, except it's me just interacting with people, showing off how I like to do business, and hopefully people want to do business with me when they come to these shows. So I have a GoPro here, which is what I use to record everything. I've learned that this isn't the greatest camera, it's not the worst, but it does have a wide shot lens, which none of my other cameras do. And I've also learned that a lot more people care about the audio quality rather than the camera quality. So as long as you're getting your shot in frame, you're good if people can hear you. So for a while, I was just using an eBay mic that cost about $30, and the spikes in quality when everything around you is so loud, it's kind of crazy and it's hard to work with when you go into editing. So I invested in some DJI mics. Not sponsored, but I would check them out, or something of similar quality, because that's what makes the video, in my opinion. Today we're at the April Long Island TCG show, getting ready to do some sales. I didn't make a video last month, my bad, got a little bit sick. Basically every time that I would feel better, I would go to record again, and then I'd get sick when I went to edit. But here we go, fresh start in April. Let's make some deals today.
How much of a budget do you give yourself to buy products?
So I go into each show knowing what I have to pay myself out from the month previous. So I have a spreadsheet that tracks all of my sales. So I will pay myself out a third of my net profits to pay towards my debt. So last month I had a lot of expenses because I actually booked myself out through the rest of the year buying all the table spots that I needed. So I'm only paying myself out $600 in this month. So as long as I have enough money at the end of the show to pay myself out $600, I can spend the rest as freely as I want, as long as I think I'm getting a good deal on cards.
Do you charge market price, or do you consider travel costs and table costs?
I will always charge market price, but I will say I go through my cards before every show and just recheck the prices because the market changes basically every day. And as long as I'm within like $5, I will typically keep that price the same. And if someone comes up to me with an informed buy and they say, hey, this is actually worth this on TCG Player, and they show me the proof, I will gladly consider any price as long as it's reasonable within the market. And then for grading cards, for an example, I have this Leafeon VMAX right here. So as you can see, I have a price tag of $600 on it, but there are sales up to $650. There are only 2 of them, so I don't think that the market actually reflects that $650, so I'm gonna leave it at $600 and see where we go from there.
Have you had any regrets getting into Pokemon sales?
No, I don't have any regrets in Pokemon sales. I will say that I have some regrets in my life financially that caused me to do this, and I wish that I had more financial freedom when going into the space so that I could spend a lot more money on Pokemon cards. I find doing this business to be a lot of fun, and I can't pour any of my own money into it because everything goes to my daily life. So more of the regret is not coming into this more prepared, but that isn't on Pokemon sales itself. That's more of my decisions in the past.
Do you like what you do?
I love what I do. I knew going into this that I was choosing opening up a business over getting a second job, because getting a part-time job, yeah, it would guarantee me money, but having the hustle of running your own business, as well as getting to meet people in the community, which is why I even started this YouTube channel in the first place and why I directed it towards Pokemon cards, I think that it's just been a very fun experience and I wouldn't change it for the world. Well, it's showtime. So basically, once this show starts, time kind of just flies by because it's so busy from that like 10 a.m. until 5 p.m. But I hope you were able to learn something from today, and I really appreciate you checking out the video. I'll see you in the next one.